live on YouTube, folks.
About to be.
Right, Tom.
Yeah, ready? Tom, are we ready?
The progress bar is halfway there. Okay, there we go.
Let's do this.
Vincent Van Gogh cut off his ear. Did he do it for love? Did he do it for fear? Who knows? Van Gogh. Dear Romeo, drank from the vial. Did he do it for love or was he just being wild? Who knows? Van Gogh. Stretch the kindness, rush with madness. Is it sadness or just a show? Van Gogh, go, 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 go. Van Gogh, go, 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 go. Van Gogh, go, 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 go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. Joe Show.
Marilyn Monroe.
Very nice, Tom. Very nice. So, lovely to be here. So just so people know, Mark is unable to make it tonight, but he's zooming in. He's watching. We know that, but he's just working so hard right now. He's taking the night off. And Mark, glad you are out there. Make sure, never worry alone. The lawyer must survive. The therapist must survive. We all must survive this, and we have. Thank you. We have Dr. Landis Mitchner here from the VA. Can I say that?
Yes.
In Brockton. And just so people know, Landis and I go way back. I used to be a supervisor there. We used to chat with some frequency, like almost every Wednesday, just hanging out, chatting, supervising residents, and he's still there. How are things going there at the VA?
It's great. I've been here 17 years and it's fantastic. I love it. I love what we're doing for the veterans. I'm a veteran. I served 5 years in the Army. I copied Morse code. And it's great to kind of, helping other veterans. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you
I
for
work
your
with
service.
great people. Yeah, you're welcome. I work with great people.
Yeah.
So
I want to get right to this because part of what we're doing on the Dr. Joe Show is we're talking obviously about Corona and COVID and touching base with different groups, find out how they're doing and how they're managing this and sort of what are the positive things that may be coming out of this and how can these veterans, these soldiers who have, given their service, how are they managing this unknown, sort of invisible enemy? What are you seeing there?
well, I'm seeing people manage it from both ends of the spectrum, as you can imagine. And some people are finding it very difficult to find some kind of meaning and structure in all of this, and they don't know what to expect. This is the perfect nightmare. You're in a situation where there's an invisible enemy and it's trying to hurt you and your friends, and you're trying to find a safe place, and you can't really find one. And there's so much uncertainty. So some people are actually living this and they're finding it very difficult. And other people are kind of taking it a little bit differently. Some veterans, like I said, it kind of reminds them of when they served in war. They learn to kind of just deal with the uncertainty, and they learn to focus on taking care of each other, looking after each other, and taking things one day at a time. And they seem to do a little bit better than other people who seem to be a little bit more unsure of the future of what to do.
I imagine the stay at home kind of replicates the hurry up and wait sort of lifestyle.
Yes. And some people are afraid to leave, don't even go to the mailbox. And so they're struggling. Other people are kind of still living their life within the parameters set. So they just have, set the proper social distancing, and they still go for walks, exercise a little bit, and they find things to do each day that they're passionate about. So one person said he likes to detail his car, and so every day he details his car, whether it needs it or not. So it's fantastic. People are finding new ways of kind of connecting. And so I'm seeing both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. And what about that innovation? So they find something that they love to do and they just keep doing it.
Yes. You know, a study looked at people in the 80s who were the happiest, and they found they did four things. One is that they woke up every day with gratitude
Mm.
for everything. Just, I'm happy to be alive. And I hear veterans say that, you know, I'm just happy to be alive and to have my family and to still be able to face life challenges. The second thing they do is that they have something that they really look forward to doing it every day. They have a passion that they look forward to. And the third thing is they have someone they love doing it with.
Mm.
So there's a connection with someone uh, that they can share a passion for and with. And the fourth thing is that they take life one day at a time and they don't worry about things. And so I call my patients up. I'm busier than I've ever been, really, because in addition to having my regular appointments that we're doing either on telephone, you know, like telehealth or by video, I'm still have other people who are calling in just because I try to make myself accessible, but they're anxious and they're stressed and they just need someone to kind of, you know, provide a little bit of support during this time period. And so I ask them, you know, what's working for you? What's not working? You know, what are you doing? You know, as far as your I am, what are you doing as far as your home life, yourself to take care of yourself? What about your connections? Okay. And you know, we try to problem solve that way.
That's great. Yeah, it is an I am. I mean, that's the thing. We're always doing the best we can, folks. Remember that. That's your I am, your current maximum potential. At this moment in time, I am doing the best I can with the potential to change. And that's part of why we wanted to bring Dr. Mitchner into this, because he's working with folks who are used to being, if not in charge, at least able to protect themselves and others. Um, and here they are adapting. One of my new phrases is adaptation is innovation. And that's really what we're doing. We are being innovators. But those four things that you mentioned, can we just review them one more time? Because I think people really need to hear them. And I think people need to be able to do this every day. So the first one,
Is we want to have gratitude
gratitude.
for little things, not just great things, but little things. And if we can think about that every day, just think of three things that are different that you're grateful for, your life can change.
Yeah. We actually spent quite a bit of the Dr. Joe show, some episodes talking about that
Mm.
gratitude, that amazing feeling of being grateful for something. And one way that we can all experience that is by reminding someone else of their value. Whenever you remind someone else of their value, you increase your own value. And it's really interesting when you do something for someone else, they say thank you, which means that you have been appreciated as having value.
And I'm wondering now, is for gratitude, is that the missing link in you know, I don't know, Doc, if you've seen those graphs of like lifetime happiness, how there's the peaks are at childhood and then more advanced age with the valley in the like say 40s. Is that because of the connection with gratitude and family? Like you're more connected with people, say whether you're living with them as a kid or again living with them as an older person, or you have a deeper family root. Uh, is that the gratitude? Is that the secret to the happiness?
What do you think, Dr. Mitchner?
I would think so. I could definitely see when you're younger, you have more hope for the future. You're looking forward to things. And as you get older, you probably look back on your life and you say, gosh, I'm grateful for these things. Um, things that are really important to us, things that you don't have to buy, but I can breathe, I can see, um, I can walk without pain.
Right.
And those things have more meaning as we begin to realize that, you know, we see other people struggling with these areas.
And I think that's part of what's happening with Corona as well. At least I feel that I had taken some things for granted. I think that I didn't realize what a privileged life many of us have actually been leading. The idea that toilet paper would be in short supply,
Yes.
never thought of that. And yet it gives me an insight into how many people in this world live in an environment that is nowhere near what we have. So I think that my gratitude has absolutely been enhanced, recognizing just these little things that we have, even if it's toilet paper. It sounds so strange, but it really is. So I think that, yes, Tom, I think that there are peaks and valleys, but I think that the potential is always there for us to recognize that we have much to be grateful for just by being here. It's an I am. So gratitude. What's the second one?
The second one is having something that we're passionate about doing, some activity that we look forward to doing every day. And um, we don't do it because it has any other purpose other than it makes us happy.
Mm,
And few
joy,
people do this. Yes, nothing except it makes us happy, it gives us joy.
joy.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's something that I bet people may have a bit more struggle with, to find that thing that gives them passion. And yet now with Corona, you have the time to find it. Why not do something? What were we talking with folks the other day, Tom, about different poetry and different ways that you can just sort of enjoy the world?
Found poetry, just reconstructing the world around you to make sense of it, make your outlook better. We had Hetty at 90s, still living it up. Like this, she's still like young at heart, painting every day.
Yeah. And again, it's an opportunity right now to maybe take that online class that you didn't think you had time to do, or read that book that you didn't think you had time to do, or binge watch some shows that you've been wanting to watch. Find these things that give you pleasure, that are safe, they're not going to hurt anybody else. Find the passion. So what I've been doing, I must admit, I have been rewriting one of my musicals. Yeah, it's true. It happens to be on Semmelweis, who is the guy who discovered that you have to wash your hands, so it's timely. But I I find that I can just get totally absorbed and just sort of lose myself in this world that I'm beginning to create again. It's wonderful. And of course, hanging out with Tom and Mark and amazing people like you, Landis,
No,
coming on the
thank you.
show, just to send a message out to other people that it's okay, that we're going to be okay. You know, we are going to get through this. We've spoken with people who are experts in grief and trauma and brain, but also people who are writing and people who are painting and people who are creating. And adaptation is innovation, and that's what we're doing. So let me ask you, hope you don't mind me getting personal. On the second thing, what's your passion? What do you like doing every day? I know your gratitude, but what do you like doing?
Well, I am grateful that I can come in every day and support people. And that's one of my passions also. I love to travel. That's a huge one. But to just call up someone and just to offer support, to tell them you're an innovator, be creative, and it's okay. Just
Yeah,
go out and just have fun with it. I love supervising the young doctors and encouraging them to really have a passion for psychiatry. So that's probably my passion, helping people find their passion
yeah, it's wonderful.
and
Tom,
just
what about
encourage
you?
them.
Well, I was actually going into this year, I had a bit of a mid-20s crisis where I was missing acting so much that I started going to live shows again. I think, you know what, I'm going to start auditioning again, going to see my friends how they're doing in plays. And then this happened. So now I'm like, oh, that's a kick in the nuts. But now I'm rereading a book, Julian Wolford, called How Musicals Work and How to Write Your Own. So I have been saying for years that I want to write a Genghis Khan musical.
Yeah.
So now I got a bit more, a little bit more pressure. Now it's like, oh, what are you doing now with your downtime? Well, aside from Animal Crossing, I guess I'm writing a Genghis Khan musical.
It's such a great idea too. What you've told me about it's great. So I'm going to tap into your database then about musicals as I write mine.
That's the idea.
We'll do it. All right. Gratitude, passion. Third one.
You need to have a connection with someone that you can share your passion with. Someone who builds you up, who's not critical, who will encourage you to be creative and innovative, and someone you can encourage and support also. So that's the third thing. We need each other.
So how do we do that these days? And you know, for some people, this is more of a challenge because we're meant to be isolated. And one of the things I say is social distancing is not the same as emotional distancing. We don't need to have that emotional distance. As a matter of fact, this may be that time to call more people, to reach out to all those people that you might not have reached out to for years. It's a good time to do it. I know my family, I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but they're making dinner and they're having fun. And that's who we're blessedly sharing things with. That's part of what my gratitude is and my passion is. Knowing that I've got these folks here, you know, 3 of my 4 kids, my other one is in New York. I miss her a lot.
People need a constant.
What's that?
People need a constant.
That's right.
It's like even there's an episode of Parks and Rec where one of the characters, Barber, of 30 or 40 years dies. And that was the biggest shock he'd ever felt. And I feel like, for example, in like veterans worlds, our mutual friend, Chuck Tullaney, he's been hosting coffee socials for years now. And without that, like, you got to innovate.
Yeah.
Maybe a monthly Zoom, weekly Zoom.
Absolutely. And for our veterans then, do you find that they can access the people that can share their passion with them?
Yes, especially now because of the video innovations we have. It's possible.
So you guys are doing a lot of online group therapy and things like that now?
Yes. And the veterans themselves are also creating their own connections, their own groups, support groups that are run by peers.
Yeah.
And so we encourage that. I encourage people to really begin to appreciate the people around you. You never know, especially today, how long, we'll have them. So let's not waste any time telling people how much they mean to us and
So true.
and finding ways to connect with them.
That was one of the things one of our guests said last night, be brave and tell somebody you care about them, And what's the fourth thing?
The fourth one is to live life one day at a time.
Yeah.
Many of the veterans I see with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, they worry about the future. They have regrets about the future, and they have a lot of concerns about the uncertainty. They worry about the past, and they have a lot of regrets or fears about the future. And so I try to tell them, let's just stay in the moment.
Yeah.
If we live in the past and try to live in the future, life becomes overwhelming. But it's a lot easier when we just take things one day at a time and just ask ourselves, what is my challenge for today? What am I going to do? Who am I going to support? Let's take it one day at a time. And that's the fourth one, living life just one day at a time.
I think future casting is a big problem people are suffering with these days. I guess it's like a helpful idea to it's always good to plan, but if you're not, if you don't have 5 kids and half a dog and a pink house and a white picket fence by 30, you're probably going to live.
I agree.
You probably will live. I would even remove the word probably. You will live and survive. And the one day at a time thing, it's so important. It permeates so many different things. it's AA is one day at a time is one of the things, but I think it's important to remember that living one day at a time does not mean that you don't appreciate again what you have. So all these things tie together. The gratitude that you're waking up, the passion to find something to do and share it with someone else, and just do that and just be in the moment. This is what the I am is also trying to say, is that when we can reflect on who we are and why we do what we do, you are going to be amazed at who you find. It's just remarkable. It is much more rewarding to wonder than to worry, and it is much more important to be reflective than reflexive. And that's what we get to do. And Corona is giving us, out of nowhere, this opportunity just to do it. You know, it would be really wonderful if once we're allowed to go back outside and all of this passes, that we don't forget these messages, that we don't forget this opportunity that we've been given, and that we stay connected to each other, because that's how we're going to get through this. One of my things that I like to say, I will have your back, but now it's 6 feet apart. You know? So we got a couple minutes left. We ask all our guests this. The I am, 4 domains: home, social, biological, IC. We are always responding to these domains, but because they're interconnected, a small change can have a big effect. You don't need to change everything. Small changes can have big effects. So Dr. Mitchner, for our listening audience, what small change can you recommend to them so that they can manage and have some joy, at least, during Corona?
Well, one simple change is the VA has put together an app called COVID Coach that provides a number of resources to help us learn how to manage our own anxiety, our moods, teach us how to relate to others, how to relax, and provides a number of resources that are available to people. And it's available in the app stores. And it just started a couple of days ago. I use it. I think it's a great app. And so something as simple as that is just looking at an app. It's a free app. It's created for the public to use during this time. That's something that's very simple to use.
That's great. What is it again? So Tom can post it on our Facebook page?
It's called COVID Coach, like COVID virus, COVID as in Victor, ID, Coach.
It's great.
And so that's a simple app that people can go to. And I was amazed at how well put together it is. And so I think people will find it useful. And it's free.
Thank you. And the second rule, in our last couple of minutes, because everyone has an I am, and everyone is interested in what you think or feel about them, because you're part of someone's home or social domain, and it has an effect on their biological domain, the way you treat them. This means you control no one, you influence everyone. You get to choose the kind of influence you want to be. So Dr. Mitchner, what kind of influence are you hoping to be?
I want people that when they cross my path, they're a better person than they were before. Mm-hmm. And that's something I've always worked for some time and strive for. So everyone who crosses my path, if they can just feel a little bit better about themselves because of our interaction, even if it's just a smile, I think that's worthwhile for me. So.
It is so valuable. Respect leads to value, and value leads to trust. And it's that trust that's going to get us through all of this. Because trust is that antidote to fear, anger, and sadness. Because when you trust someone, you can make a mistake and you're not going to be judged as less valuable. So, Dr. Mitchner, I so appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Tom, anything else that you wanted to talk about or ask Dr. Mitchner, or are we good for tonight?
Well, I'd say we're good for tonight. I just posted the COVID Coach onto our Facebook group. So anyone watching on YouTube, just head on over. In fact,
That's
I'll
great.
post the link right in the live chat.
That's great. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will be back later on. We're going to get through this, folks. It's an
We will.
IM. It's an IM.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Bye. Bye, Tom.
And oh, God is here. Did he do it for love? Did